just part of trading. You have to trust your process. And then no matter what happens, you go back, and I will do this same trade again tomorrow. I do the same trade again the next day and the next day. Hi fellow traders, what's happening? It's Ed, the Average Joe Trader, coming back at you with a little bit of knowledge, a lot of bit of trading, and a little bit of some other stuff that I'll let you name, call it whatever you want to. I'm not going to put any more in your head right now. But I hope you guys had a great weekend. You're off to a good start this week. You know, we came into Money Making Monday. Started off a little slow, but we finished strong. Ended up with a decent day. I'm going to share that with you here in a couple of minutes. But first, got to give you guys just a little bit of knowledge. Small steps in the right direction are better than one big step in the wrong direction. You know, you got to think about it. You know, we say all the time that this is a marathon, not a short race. And if you're preparing to run a marathon, you don't go out and start training and you run a marathon the first day. You build yourself up, you build your endurance up, and then you eventually go past the distance that the marathon is. But the key is you're consistently building yourself up. If you try to do too much too fast, you could do some serious damage to your physical self. And in turn, it could cause some mental issues. So there's a lot that could go wrong just in that. So think about in trading, if you're trying to take these huge steps and trying to skip, building up your toolbox, building that foundation that you need, it's not going to end well for you. So just remember, small steps in the right direction always going to be bigger than a large step in the wrong direction. All right, so let's take a look at, I know everybody was asking, what did we make last week? What did we make last week? All of these for the last 2 weeks are the trades that we took live in chat. So each one of these trades, each day, you got to see all of these trades if you hung out with me all day. But you can see last week we had a killer week, 57, 44, 65. One of the best weeks I've had in a long time. But what's really impressive is this huge move on the equity curve. Now, it's amazing how much better I'm doing now that I have a lot off my back. Trying to run a business, trying to make sure I have everything in place so that the chat room stays up, that I've got all the tools I need. It's just a lot to deal with. Now I don't even have to deal with that anymore. I can just focus on trading and teaching you guys how to trade. So, equity curve has shown a big spike. So I hope this doesn't look like that old Price is Right guy. That you remember the little guy yodeling on yodel 80, 80, yodel 80, 80, and then all of a sudden it comes crashing down. We don't want that. We don't want to fall off the side of the cliff. But I know I can't keep doing this every week. It's not going to do this every week. I think we just hit the market at the right time, and I'm able to take advantage of it. But really, really happy with the way things are going so far. All right, so let's take a look at the trades here from today. First one I took was DLTR. Was being a little aggressive here. Let me back this up so you can see it. Was being a little aggressive here. I bought it not on the 5-minute opening range. I bought it on the break of the pre-market highs, being a little aggressive. Here eventually was a 5-minute opening range high. So what I did, I bought it, it pulled back, it held. This was my stop here. Now, we know some of these can pull back pretty hard and bounce. This, if this being my stop was about $3. All right, so maybe a little bit over $3. My final target up here was 130. So, I had enough room to make more money than I was risking, because a lot of people get caught up in that. And I talk about it every day. I explain the risk parameters to you. It's not the elementary, I'm risking this to make that. The reason why you haven't got anywhere with everything is because you don't have the right mindset when it comes to risk management. If you have the beginner, what we teach you when you're first starting to try to help you build your discipline and stuff, it's not going to get you to where you need to be. So we have to change that, and that's what we're working on here. So as we came through the opening range high, I added to this. Now, I did add 100 shares too much. I only meant to add 200, but I hit the 300 button. Trying to be fancy and not look at the keyboard, but I did it. And here is the first, second cover was pretty much right on top of each other. But you can see it was 125.69 and then 126.26. But then we spread it back out, 127.50, 128.50, and then finally 130 was my final target. It only went up to just over 131. This was a solid trade. And almost, if I added it right, almost right under $1,000 on this. But I gave most of it, or not most of it, I gave about half of it back when I was buying the break here, and it failed. And so I ended up giving some of it back. There's nothing I did wrong here. It just failed. I can't blame the stock. I can't blame the market. I can't blame myself. It's just part of trading. You have to trust your process. No matter what happens, you go back, and I will do this same trade again tomorrow. I'll do the same trade again the next day and the next day. It's all about trusting your process. All right, so DLTR, that was that one. So the next trade I got in while I was waiting for DLTR was PayPal. I wanted to see PayPal continue to recover. You see the daily, look, I'm looking for PayPal to clean this gap up. And so when it went to break, I was like, yeah. So we broke the 5-minute opening range high and then immediately flushed. So when I clicked the buy button up here, it was all the way down here when I got filled, which is a better fill, but I didn't want to buy into this opening range low. I wanted to buy above it. Well, it pulled back and I had to stop out. Now, I didn't even have a choice. I only wanted to risk $300 on this, and that's all I risked, and that was that. I have my risk. I'm not looking at a specific price or whatever. Once I lose $3 on against my entry, I'm taking it off. $300 against my entry, which was 300 shares. If I lost $1, that's it. I don't have to do anything else. That's why I use whole numbers, so I can quickly calculate when I need to get out. I don't watch my P&L. I think that's the dumbest thing you can do, to trade your P&L to try to make money. You end up making way too many mistakes trying to trade your P&L. But that's PayPal. And again, I'm trusting the process. This failed. That's fine. But I'm not going to fold up and go home. I'm going to keep trading. All right, so TGTX, another stock that was on our watch list, was setting up really nice. It was on short sale restriction, but over the last couple of weeks, stocks on SSR outperformed stocks that weren't. So I didn't have any problem taking this trade. I got in, we got the base hit, it bounced, rejected the 9, started to come back in. This level held again, and when we started to recover back up to the 9, I just took it off. It was time to go to lunch anyway. I wasn't going to let it just fester through lunch. And while I was waiting to leave and trying to do something, I was watching TDT and TTD, and it was setting up for a reversal. So I was like, yeah, we need to get in TTD. This looks good. We're going to get this reversal. I get in, and I still have TGTX up on my chart. So I accidentally get in here, and, I took it out. But what you do is you can't sit here and panic out. If you make a mistake, assess the situation. We were still under the 9. Everything looked like we could still sell, and it actually looked like it was coming. But it ended up getting stuck at 26.50. It bounced, ended up killing it. And you see that was a smart thing to do. The price action was telling me to get the hell out, and so I got out for, a small gain here. So that was TGTX. TTD is the one that we grabbed the reversal on. Here, nice reversal hammer here. We came down. As soon as we got below the 9 moving average, I shorted it. I could have got in earlier, but I wasn't going to short against the 9. Ended up getting a base hit. It didn't sell all the way to the VWAP. This was my first target. This was my second target. So it bounced, pulled back to VWAP, able to take some off here. And it came down to this 104.25 level. I was able to get some here, and then it bounced. Never could get to the 100. It eventually got there here, but the 100 had pushed up anyway. So I think this was a smart thing to do, is just get out here and took that trade. So the last trade of the day was the earnings trade, and this was a nice surprise. When we ran the earnings scanner, we didn't have any stock show up on it. But I did see this, I did hear about this, and I'm like, hey, let's just take a look at this stock. We looked at Advanced Auto Parts too, that reported. That was another automotive stock I was kind of familiar with, but that one didn't trade worth 2 cents. This one actually gave us a little move. I was surprised. It didn't get to 48.25 was my next target, but I did get a base hit on this. What we do is we wait for the announcement, let the first 5-minute candle of that announcement print, mark the low, mark the high. If it breaks high, we go long, look for our profit targets to the long side. If it doesn't, it goes short. We look for our targets to the short side. It went long, got a base hit, and this was, we didn't even have this on watch. I didn't have an earnings watch list today. There just weren't anything looking good, but we hung around and watched these two and actually got a little trade on this. So the day ended pretty good. I mean, we had a really, really good day. Let's see, we made, I'll see if I can show you what we made before we log off here. $16.36.33. Let's see if we can blow it up. Not bad today. Not bad at all. 16.36.33. The PayPal, we got hit. That was a loss. I lost $3.50 on it. $50 out of the minimum, but that's par for the course. DLTR, I think I had close to $1,000 on this trade at first. Lost half of it on that second trade. Wasn't a bad trade. Just didn't work. Trust your process, guys. It's not going to work all the time. But I trusted my process. I executed my trades the way I always do. I didn't change anything up. And we have the results. My equity curve is the way it is because I don't change what I do. And once you get this down, and once you can come in and execute the same every day, regardless of how good it is or how bad it is, it doesn't matter. At the end of the month, if you're consistent, you're going to put money in your bank and your account's going to grow. And before you know it, if you're under PET, you'll be out, or you'll have cushion to where you can trade freely. So just think about that. You guys have a great night, great evening, and I will catch you tomorrow.